So kind of going to Bubba's question, like what was your general impression of him, like his demeanor and just presence?
Well, he was he was cool. He was cool. He was laid back. He was genuine. He was passionate. Seems to have a genuine care and interest in what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he really want to coach the kids. He really want to do something to help them and to help them change their lives. And during the interview, he kept saying it's about the kids. It ain't about Erie. It's about the kids. He kept saying, go talk to the kids. Go interview these kids.
Right, right. And this is a group that he'd only literally been on the job for about 3 weeks and already developed a somewhat significant attachment to.
Yeah, actually, he has. Matter of fact, during the protest, one of the guys he was talking to the media. One of the quarterbacks on the team, name escapes me. Tyrone Franklin Jr., he was actually protesting. There's a couple football players out there. He was protesting, and he said, I won't read. That's who we want to be our coach.
Knowing, I guess, the environment over in Daytona and being familiar with Bethune, like, is there any way that the decision gets reversed and he stays in light of protest?
No. I'm being told that they have a coach
ready to go.
I'm being told they have a coach. If they don't have a coach, they will announce the coach within the next couple of days. Okay. Matter of fact, when they're on the interim president's release, he said they expect to have a coach by the end of the week and within 10 days. I'm being told it's going to be at the end of the week.
Wow. So that's 2 days, basically.
So what? So Ed Reed, and this the latest news that we heard, he's still in town and he's still fighting for this. And he's trying to get a meeting with the president. So, is that the last thing you heard? Is he still in town? You think
he is still in town? I've heard that he was on somewhere on the beach side last night. And this girl had to go dancing someplace on the beach side. I'm thinking it's the Ocean Deck because that's where I go. They got the dance floor, you got the live band, play the reggae music. That's what I'm thinking about. I heard he was in town. But if you read my interview, he said he was probably going to leave, but my article, but, he said he probably was going to leave, but I heard he was still in town.
Now, did Ed, did he retain any of the prior coaching staff, or did he bring in?
As a matter of fact, what Reggie Fields said on HBCU game day today when he was with Brian Wilson, he said that, I guess you guys didn't see the interview. He said that he retained 2 coaches to kind of, open things up and show Ed Reed around. I'm actually watching it again right here on YouTube on my television.
Okay,
so it was 2 coaches that was. So it was some coach. So apparently Theus has been online saying that there was 2 coaches that was left
that were retained from the prior staff. And the rest were all new guys that Ed brought in?
Yeah, apparently, as he brought in coach, probably didn't have everybody. I'm not sure if he had his whole entire coaching staff with him, but I'm sure he had some people with him.
Now, we're kind of going back to the beginning of this. I mean, when I first heard about the Ed Reed hire, my first instinct was, man, this is going to be Deion's legacy in HBCU football in that it's going to be a pathway for high-profile football people to get head coaching experience at HBCUs, and the HBCU will benefit from the increased brand recognition that somebody like Deion or Ed Reed brings in. And he may only be there a couple years, but they'll kind of both use each other, the school and Ed, to get what they want out of the deal. Do you have a different opinion on what went into the hire of Ed Reed, why he was the guy?
Well, I know it's a big name. I know it was a big name. I know they needed a big name. If you look at recent history of Thune-Cookman, you know that Thune-Cookman has some trouble. They have some financial issues. They got the dorm deal, the lawsuit from that, lawsuits with former coaches, former instructors, the Alumni Association and the school are counter-suing each other right now, and there's a lot of schools been in debt, all that kind of stuff. it's a lot of stuff in you know. I mean, come on, Bubba, you went you
Right.
went to Cookman.
Right.
You know what is not was not there and
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, you know, but Ed Reed, his name recognition was gonna bring some. It definitely was gonna bring some good players in.
So
He was gonna get some recruits.
Well,
Heard he had some recruits. They say he had 30 recruits on campus Friday night.
wow. One of the things that people have said, though, one of our guys, is that the light that Ed Reed was going to bring to the university was something that maybe made the university uncomfortable because of some of the things you just mentioned, ongoing litigation, some financial issues within the school, and that in a weird way that this was almost really a bad mix for that reason.
Well, I grew up in Daytona Beach. I know about Bethune-Cookman. I've got family members that went to Bethune-Cookman. I got people in Daytona Beach. Most people in Daytona have a love for Bethune-Cookman. Most people that went to school have a love for Cookman, but there are some negative tones to it, Cookman, when it comes to. And Cookman does have a separation from the community that it didn't have in the past. But also, I tell you this: my first job out of college, I graduated from UCF over there. When I graduated from college and came from UCF, I first came back to Daytona. My first job, I worked in housekeeping at Bethune-Cookman. I cleaned the gym. And I know how they can be on people sometimes. And Bethune is a place that right now, the last couple of years, Bethune just don't like anything negative. You can't say anything about the university. Have you seen some of these interviews and stuff? Y'all been watching the Roland Martin show? Some of the things the kids are coming out and saying. Some of the things I mean, I've been doing lawsuit stories on the alumni social thing. They have kids signing non-disclosure agreements and stuff like that, man. In fact, they admitted that on the Roland Martin show today. The young lady on the homecoming court, right. And matter of fact, they got suspended because they did something that the school didn't like. They couldn't march. They wasn't on the football field the whole year.
Well, you mentioned a few minutes ago that like you're kind of like persona non grata on campus. What is that? How did that start?
Listen, they don't. All right, just over the years, some of the articles that we've done, and some of the editorials that we've done, they've been upset about it. So they basically taking us off of campus. The newspaper's no longer on campus. They don't really let. They've kind of really shunned the media out, and they definitely haven't really responded to the Daytona Times. Like, when they do respond, we're like, well, we're going to get a statement, or we don't have a comment at this time. But really, they don't talk to us. Now, you can ban the newspaper off of campus, but me, growing up in Daytona Beach, I know how to get on campus. It don't take much to get on campus.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And what these kids talking about is true. Something is a security issue. Sometimes it don't take much to walk up there to get up there.
Bubba was very concerned. Have you ever seen a live crackhead on a campus?
Man, yes, I have. Bubba, you have too.
I
right?
said, no, this is what I said. This is what I said before, like in the pre-show. But I said, it's only two
Most
people.
of the time, if they there, they just walking.
They
through.
just,
Most of the time,
they just walking through.
Yeah.
They're not bothering nobody if they are. But it's only two people that know what a crackhead is. That's one person that has, if you see a person doing crack, you know that they're a crackhead. And the other person that knows what a crackhead is if they sold crack for a absorbent amount of years. Because Daytona, Daytona is the black side of Daytona is a poor place. You know what I mean? So a lot of
Daytona, and Bethune-Cookman sits in one of the poorest areas.
Yes.
In all of Volusia County. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. And it's an open
Everybody
campus.
knows that. It's an open campus. And plus, Bethune-Cookman has a lot of land. Bethune-Cookman owns like 18 acres of land. Well, over the years, they've been buying up property. A lot of that land that they have. Matter of fact, that where the athletic training center is, and the stuff where Ed Reed talking about behind the building with the trash and stuff, Bethune-Cookman didn't own that land probably about 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Now I got two quick questions to ask you too. One is, I've been my stance one of my stances has been the storm, the hurricanes, the back-to-back. One was a storm, the other one was a hurricane that came through Daytona. It really did, it set Bethune-Cookman back. Now, if it was a bigger school, they would have had the resources to come in, clean everything up, get everything right. right away. But how big of an impact do you think those storms had? And
those storms had a huge impact. Them two hurricanes have literally destroyed much of Daytona. They destroyed much of Daytona. I mean, Daytona, we got flood-prone areas and rattleheads. A lot of places flooded out. A lot of businesses closed. The hurricanes was bad here. The hurricanes bad. You got people that are still displaced that don't have homes, living in hotels. People living with family members. People that moved out the state. You got people that are still living in the hotels. You got people that lost everything. All their houses flooded out. All that kind of stuff. And some of these people probably work at Bethune-Cookman. I'm sure the people that work at Bethune-Cookman is displaced by the hurricane right now.
And where I was going to go with that is that, when somebody from another part of the country, even another part of the state, is listening to Ed Reed or tapping into this story, they're not going to appreciate the effect that the storms had on the campus and the city overall without having that level of familiarity with the situation.
Yeah, it was a lot of damage. The school got a lot of damage. A lot of the town got damaged, and it's just like, plus, Bubba, you've been here. It's certain parts of Daytona. If it's any heavy rain, it's going to flood.
Yeah, it is.
Any heavy rain. It's places on Beach Street over there. That area floods over here by Madison. That area floods over here in what we call the hood over here. Over on the Orange Avenue, all that, Loomis Avenue, all that stuff over the Palmetto Park and Caroline Village community. They flood all that behind Campbell and South Street. Flood. All this stuff was underwater, man. Especially the first hurricane. Even downtown had water. Had flooded and stuff too. Remember the vegan restaurant over on Beach Street?
Right on Beach Street.
Yeah, they flooded. They flooded twice.
I don't know nothing about vegan restaurants.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And my second question was, when you listen to Ed Reed, especially in his Roland Martin interview there, he talked about Reggie Theus, about him being such a really evil man, but he was going into the detail about
Reggie
that.
Theus?
Right. Yeah, that's what he said. He called
the basketball guy?
Yeah. That's what I just
said.
Yeah.
Reggie Theus is athletic director. He's the athletic director at Bethune-Cookman too.
No, you mentioned athletic
coach.
Director. I didn't realize it was Reggie Theus.
Yeah, he's the AD and basketball
coach. He was
right.
like a better basketball version of Rick Fox.
Yeah.
Kind of like a suave, light-skinned guy.
What has been your experiences with Reggie? And what is your overall feeling on him?
I mean, my experience with Reggie has been good. We've talked, we've conversated. We've done, I've done interviews with him. He's told me he kept me access to athletics. My experience with him has been good. I have a favorable opinion of Reggie.
How long has Reggie been the AD and basketball coach?
He's been there for 2 years. He came right during the pandemic. This is his second season being the athletic director and coach.
Okay.
His second season.
Now, I mean, from what you've said, you really paint the university as being kind of a very sort of closed off, almost paranoid place as far as it relates to like media interactions and stuff like that. Did you find Reggie to be a bit of an outlier in that regard and a little bit more open than the university as a whole?
Well, you see, no, I don't think that he's more open. I think he's, but from me meeting him and dealing with him, I think he's more down to earth than I would think, than I thought that he would be for, some of his stature, being a former athlete, being, a celeb and all that kind of stuff. He's more down to earth. He surprised me more down to earth. But as for more openness, nah, Bethune-Cookman just not. They're just not an open place. It's just not open.
Can you blame them though, with all of the as you laid out everything they're going through with the lawsuits and with the just in the media itself? You said you guys have written.
Well, I can't blame. Well, look, a lot of stuff that's going on though. A lot of stuff has to do with. A lot of the problems have to do with Bethune-Cookman.
Right.
No, it's two sides to every stone. Have they had students and alumni that did stuff that they weren't supposed to do? tarnish the school's name and image and stuff like that. Yes, but Bethune-Cookman leadership, particularly in these last years or these last couple of decades, has warranted a lot of stuff that's what's going on because they've made these decisions that put the university in these binds.